It has been just over a week since Durant shocked the NBA world, and the news came out that he had requested to be traded. KD's old teammate Draymond Green on his podcast offered support for Durant's position. Take a listen to this.
If Kevin Durant says, I actually don't want to be here anymore, I want to go to somewhere else, why does it matter? Why does that make you weak? Why does that make him, it means he's running from something? If someone leaves Google to go to Apple after 3 or 4 years, and then they leave Apple after 2 years to go to Tesla, and then they leave Tesla after 4 years to go to DocuSign, no one's going to say that person ran. Everyone's going to say that person did what was best for their career.
Setting aside the whole Tesla to DocuSign pipeline that apparently exists, we have Brian Windhorst here now also to break this down. But I want to start with you, Nick. What did you make of Draymond's comments?
Well, I don't know who Draymond is upset about.
I don't either.
Dan, we've been listening for a while. Who's actually upset and saying, oh, Kevin's doing the wrong thing? I think a lot of people around the league are going, well, Kevin's getting out of a pretty messy situation and getting away from Kyrie. But my initial feeling on this is, after watching Kevin and Draymond and Steph with the Warriors, my perspective is you have to appreciate just how much Steph Curry means and has meant to that Golden State organization. Kevin knows how important he is to the league, but the reason why so many people around the NBA and throughout the Bay Area love and respect and are so loyal to Steph Curry is because he stayed and he didn't want to go anywhere else. He didn't want to try to be somebody in a different spot. He wanted to stay with the Warriors and win with the Warriors. And Kevin is still trying to look for the right situation. He's still trying to find it all these years into his career. But what it means to me is this guy, Steph Curry, is that special to that team, and that's the reason why they've been able to win now and moving forward.
Brian, what do you think Draymond is really trying to say with these comments on KD?
I think he might be talking about the last move that Durant made, which was to his team and the Warriors. That's when people said he was running from something and called him different names. I'm not sure that anybody, other than if you're a Nets fan, can not understand, as Nick said. And Draymond's point about players, using leverage, I think we all understand that. I think all of us in various times in our lives are in leverage positions and positions where we're being leveraged. Even within the NBA, there's a precious few players who can actually ask for a trade and get it. There are players out there right now who have asked for trades from their team, and their teams are not granting it. But Durant is one of those players, even though he's got a 4-year contract. So I think that it's certainly a situation that is not something that is ideal in the NBA. Adam Silver has talked about this. He's talked about how he wants players to honor their contracts. It's something that I'm sure is going to be discussed in the upcoming collective bargaining agreement negotiations. But I'm telling you, no matter what they do, Durant is going to have that power. The issue at the bedrock here is that you have a team that's kind of crippled, and the player can do it, and that's not going to hasn't changed in years, and it's not going to change for years to come.
So we mentioned it's been a little more than a week since this news broke. So, Nick, how would you describe where things stand right now with the Durant trade request?
We're in a holding pattern. And then the Nets thought, all right, Kevin Durant's going to be made available. We're going to get all these offers, and all these teams are going to be lining up. They've been talking to plenty of teams. There's just nothing that has materialized to this point to their liking. So if you're the Nets, you just have to wait and hope that things get better, that another offer comes that knocks your socks off. But we've been talking about it all week. You never get full value in return for a superstar player. And that's what Brooklyn is running up against here. I think eventually Kevin will get moved. And eventually it may have to come from him saying, hey, I don't want to be here anymore. It's time. But for the time being, you wonder what happens in Vegas over the next week or so with everybody in the same place in the league. Maybe some momentum at Summer League gets things rolling. But right now, there's nothing to really go on.
No, it's been, as you say, a holding pattern. Wendy, what do you think is the biggest factor, reason why this deal hasn't been done yet?
I'm going to give you a few, Dan, as I talk to league executives out there. Number one, this is a basic situation. If you have a team that has enough players and draft picks to trade for Kevin Durant, when the dust settles, you want to have a championship contender. And that is hard to do. Number two, Kevin Durant makes over $40 million a year. Assembling a trade that satisfies the Nets in terms of the players they're getting back and qualifying for by the NBA trade rules is not simple. Third, even though it looks like at the outset, when you hear that a player like Kevin Durant is under a 4-year contract, like one of the first things we said was, oh my gosh, we never see stars demand trades who have these contracts. It sounds like in the marketplace that isn't turning out to be as valuable, because while everybody recognizes he's still an MVP level player, there is some assumption of risk when you're going to be paying him over $50 million when he's age 37, 38. That is something the teams have directly told me is something that they're trying to pricing in. And fourth, one of the most important things here is nobody has to meet the Nets price. The Nets price is here. What they have to beat is the price of everybody else. And that is the delta that we're in right now, the difference between those two benchmarks.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.